yesterday, but not on this channel. We were live over on ESL_SC2B. We were the official B stream for the ESL Masters Winter regionals, of course. The regionals for Asia, for Europe, and for the Americas as well. So we were busy casting the B stream, and now we are here returning with World Team League. Now the downside is that yesterday was day one of WTL, and because we were busy with ESL Masters, we weren't able to cover day one, and I will do my best to schedule a time for it sometime this week. In the middle of the week, I'll be able to schedule a time, and we will cover and catch up with day one. We will also have to do the same with day three, because tomorrow we also are going to be casting the B stream, which means we won't be able to cover it. We won't be able to cover day three of WTL, which again is a bit of a feels bad, man. I would love to cast everything. I'd love to cast it all, but it isn't feasibly possible. We have to pick and choose one over the other, and we can cast WTL via clean feed or via replays, so we'll be on that at some point in the week. And here we go. We're diving into our first matchup into Matcherino versus Mystery Gaming. And in the top left-hand corner for Matcherino, we have Astrea, and in the bottom right, we have Bunny for Mystery Gaming. Here we go. I also did my best to avoid spoilers from day one, and I will likewise do my best to avoid spoilers from day number 3 as well, so we can experience that all together again at some point during the week. Most likely Tuesday and Thursday. Those are our 2 days where we're kind of free to go over some missed opportunities and miscasts. Likewise, we also have to catch up KSL. I didn't cast KSL this morning because I could not sleep. I couldn't really get too much rest this afternoon, so I didn't manage to cast KSL, which means we also have to catch up on that. We also have to catch up on GSL. Yeah, ESL Masters periods are always just really intense for us because we're busy covering ESL Masters, and that means that we can't quite do the same coverage for some other events, but we'll do our best. We'll catch up, Bobby. We'll catch up. Until then, shout out to the sponsors. We have a new sponsor. We have a new sponsor halfway through the season. That was Doyu Autofull, and there was another new logo there. I'm not too familiar with it. There weren't any words. It was just a picture, but yeah, it looks like we may have a new sponsor for WTL. Shout out to it. Oh my god, we just get blared music. But a shout out to the new sponsor, and I'm sure we'll dabble into who that is at some point. Hoja, hopefully it's Hoja again. They just made a new logo. But we're here in a oh my god, all the music is starting up. Let's go. But yeah, I am looking forward. I'm looking forward to this series, this matchup between Matcherino and Mystery Gaming. I do think they're pretty well matched with each other. They actually faced off in the qualifiers for WTL in WTL Code A to make it into Code S. So they did face off. I believe Mystery Gaming came out on top, but we'll see if Matcherino can get their revenge. As for now, we're getting into some pretty standard openers. It was a Rax Expand out of Bunny, single gas opener. So again, very economic out of our Korean Terran player. And from Astrea, we have likewise a standard opener as well. So nothing too fancy here in the early game, and I'm excited as well, not just to get these two teams facing off, but Astrea, of course, is in the midst of competing in ESL Masters Winter. He is, of course, in the Americas region, and he may actually play later today. I'm pretty sure he is. Pretty sure he is playing later on tonight, so I do wish Astrea the best of luck for that. I hope he gets plenty of rest and he isn't overworked playing in 2 big events on the same day. So wish him the best. Likewise, Bunny as well, recently returning. Oh, we just did a little box on the new logo. I don't know who that is, but we got a new one, Papi. We got a new one. Is it a new Pokemon? Este Honkai Star Rail, the game. Honkai Star. Oh, I think I've heard of that before. I could be crazy. Hold on. Honkai Star.
It's a new game similar to Genshin Impact.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounds like a Genshin game. Okay, oh, let's go. We're non-stop weebs here. We love it. As we do have Astrea going for his tech of choice, going to be going for a robo-based opener. This is not the first time we've seen this from Astrea. Very bold move. I think the last time we saw this, Astrea did go for a Disruptor drop, but we'll see if that's going to be the case here, as this should be for a Robotics Bay-based opener. But before we can get into that, we have Bunny going for a Mind Drop. So Bunny Again, pretty standard opener so far. Astrea, the downside to the tech that he's going or that he's working towards is, of course, the lack of map control. He's going to have a harder time keeping up with drops and keeping up with the positioning and the overall army here of Bunny without Blink and without Phoenixes, but he will have a more robust army. He can get into Immortal production a lot earlier and Colossus production a lot earlier as well. Here we go. We have the drop into the main. Mines as well as Hellions. Okay, Bunny, you have my attention. A bit of a hybrid amalgamation of a drop. And here we go. The Winter Mines, they do bust in. The Hellions as well. Good pickup. I go, no! The friendly fire takes out one of the Hellions. 2 probes go down to the 2 mine shots. Minimal losses here for Astrea, and he does force back the drop. There's potential. I was about to praise Bunny for saving his low HP Hellion, which he did save. There it is. But as soon as he did that, the mine did friendly fire and killed the other Hellion. I was like, oh, never mind. So it wasn't quite able to save both of them, but saved one at least as he backs off. And we have our composition of choice. So we had a robo first. That is true. We're getting observers out for detection, for map vision at least, and we are going straight into a Twilight Council, not into Blink, into Charge. Chargelot Archon coming out from Astrea. Very interesting choice. He has warped in some additional Stalkers. He's splitting up his forces. He's defending in his main and his natural. Likewise, his third base is being taken. A very economic opener here out of Astrea. And we'll see if he can keep up with the drop play of Bunny. Here we go. We have the auto turret into the natural base, but the Stalkers are in position. The target firing was not good enough, and Astrea barely takes any losses. He has an observer covering the mine drop as well, so Astrea is fully aware of the potential of said mine drop, and he's rushing straight into Storm. Very fast Storm here is being chronoed out, so he will have some splash damage available. I love that he already has some High Templar. He's slowly banking up NG for said Storms, but he hasn't really shown his hand yet, or I should say Bunny hasn't quite gotten wind of this quite yet either. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Bunny did research Interference Matrix, and after seeing a Robo Opener, it makes sense, but alas, there is no Colossus, there are no Disruptors, the Mind Drop comes in, up, the target firing, 3 probes go down, a bit of, oh my god, it comes back! We have a second mine coming back in, and we will get some more probes, as 5 go down in total, a much better trade here for Bunny compared to that first time. Very well done here. Again, Astrea, he just reacted a little bit too late, a little bit too slow. Was not quite expecting it to come from that angle. And here comes the main push from Bunny. Now, the Observer is in a good enough position. It does spot the move out. Astrea knows, and Astrea has Storm. He has Storms available. 5 High Templar are morphed in. Each about to have 1 Storm each. We can feedback as well, bear that in mind. There is no EMP, and yeah, Bunny, he has to respect this. He scans, he retreats. The Marauders, oh, bold. They sim on forward to try to focus down any of those High Templar as he backs off, takes down the Observer, and he's going for some drop play instead. Again, he knows that he cannot break Astrea head on. Like, he cannot push up the ramp, he cannot engage with the main army, not with all those storms. He goes for a triple drop, but alas, he comes across the Zealot run by of Astrea, so they both stop each other. Astrea does turn back. And from here, Astrea, he's working towards Blink and Heroic Bay. He is diversifying his splash damage, working towards eventual Colossi. But we already have Ravens, we have Interference Matrix. Bunny, he can already deal with those. And the Ghost Academy immediately was thrown down. He's getting ready to deal with those High Templar as well. So again, really solid reactions here out of Bunny. He's just refining his army over time. Still hasn't found too much damage outside of the mine drop. But he's getting his third base on location, and he has map control. He is safe to get his third on said location. Oh, the target firing. Bunny trying to snipe that High Templar, doesn't quite get it. Doesn't quite get his hands on it, as we do see a very delicate dance here. Astrea, he cannot commit, not quite yet without the storms. He's going to be able to zone the army away, doesn't quite connect either. As we have some auto Tartaras coming in. Now, this does make a lot of sense because Bunny hasn't seen any high-tech units like Colossus. He's like, oh, I don't need to save energy for disables. Let's go for some auto Tartaras instead. That is going to just, you know, allow less energy to be spent later on, and the auto turrets will be shut down. Doesn't really get too much damage done. Astrea was in position. And he's setting up for his own drop across the map. Are the High Templar in that prison? Is it a storm drop? I think it's just Zealots. I think it's just Zealots across the map, but regardless, Bunny getting his own third base up and running. Astrea a little bit late to draw his own fourth, actually. He's getting into a second Robo, second Forge. Astrea, he's taking up quite a bit. Quite a bit of tech on the way here from Astrea. But where is that fourth? He looks like he is looking to take it. Zealot drop is coming in. Again, no High Templar. It's good for a massive Zealot Warband, but there's an army in position, a solid EMP, and the Prism will go down at the same time. Astrea, he pushes towards the third base. He has plenty of storms banked up. Where are those ghosts? So far, good force fields here. SCVs are going down. And oh my, the feedbacks! The feedbacks and the storms as well. Bunny, he has to back off. He cannot engage, and he loses 15 SCVs. We're not even done. We do have an army coming from behind. Colossus does go down, and Astrea, if he's not too careful, he's going to get surrounded. You see Bunny just consolidating his forces. EMP doesn't quite connect with the High Templar. Another storm gets thrown down. Another Colossus is on the way. And this time there is no surround. Oh, here come the ghosts. Up. Decent EMPs, but I think there's still one storm left. No, sorry, 2 storms. 3 storms. Oh my god. As 2 more High Templar join the fray. Here we go. Astrea going to be pushing towards that third base once again. This time still with plenty of splash damage, and we do land a decent EMP, but 2 more High Templar are still left behind. 1 EMP left. Up! He gets it! But there's still 1 High Templar left with energy. High NG Ghost is going to be going down, and with that, Astrea, he can keep pushing. He takes his 4th base. He has to be very careful. He has 1 High Templar left with energy. And he's going to back off. Doesn't want to risk it. Doesn't want to take his chances here, as he is just going to retreat. Is going to make his way back home. Trying to hold on to that 4th. The 4th was very late from Astrea. But at least the High Templar survived. They did get EMP'd, but they are still kicking. As Astrea is going to be outpositioned. 4th base here on the low ground. Can he push his way forward? There's still 1 mine zoning him away. Looks like he will make it. He will be able to protect that said 4th base. It's slowly getting up and running, and with this counterattack from Bunny kind of falling on its face, so not really achieving too much, Astrea, he's in a good position. He's up in workers. Remember, Bunny, he lost 15 SCVs earlier. He's still on 3CC. The Zealot Rumba is making its way across the map. Bunny hyper-fixated here on his push. But pushing into all those ghosts is a difficult thing to do. There we go. He is pushing forward again, leading the charge with those ghosts. Oh, decently. Oh, pretty good EMP. Catches, what, 3 High Templar? Almost 4. But the Zealot Rumba. Zealot Rumba comes in. More SCVs are going to be going down. Oh my god, the storms! The storms are just too insane here. Bunny, he wasn't looking. He was not paying attention, and he's going to lose his mineral line as well as a big chunk of his army. And Astrea is looking strong. Shuts down the medevacs in the retreat. Forces back Bunny. He's getting a 3rd rover for triple disruptor production. As there we go, the first couple of disruptors are coming out. EMPs, they won't save you against the Novas. They will not save you against those balls. Ah. As we are just going to push on in. Decent EMPs, but how good are the Novas so far? Just zoning away the army. We have 1 more left. It goes up. Does take down some of those ghosts. It looks like, though, Astrea, he's running out of steam. He had some decent Novas, but there weren't any storms. None at all. And Astrea, he did overextend. He lost every single high-tech unit. His Colossus, his Disruptors, his High Templar, and his Archons. A little bit too careless in that attack. Maybe a little bit too ambitious. And now Bunny, he has a fighting chance. He's up in army supply. He doesn't have an economy. He is down to less than 40 SCVs. But he has an army. He could potentially break Astrea here and now. He needs to. He cannot allow this to go on any longer, as Astrea is making 3 rover units at a time. 2 Colossi and a Disruptor. We're going to be able to kite back at least a little bit here. Take down some of these Zealots. Astrea, he's aware of the positioning of the army. He is aware. I was just pointing out some of the upgrades, and Bunny, he is stuck on 1-1. He hasn't started 2-2. Well, the reason for that, he doesn't have the money for it. He has been struggling here in the economy for quite some time. He hasn't been able to afford 2-2. because of that, Astrea, he's got a bank. And once he spends it, Astrea, he can push out once again. And the reality is that Bunny, he doesn't have Liberators yet. He hasn't been able to get into that transition. We have an Armory on the way just now for 2-2. Meanwhile, +3 is finishing on up. Up the probes. Astrea out of position, going to be losing a mineral line and a 4th base, but at the same time, he dives into the army. He gets 2-3 ghosts. Zealot Ramai comes in once again. So Astrea, he loses the 5th base, but he is once again getting counter damage done. Sniped ghosts, got more SCVs. And Astrea can keep on pushing in. Now, Bunny has a 2nd army out on the map that's turning back around, so we could potentially try to surround. But it has been spotted by Astrea. He knows. Big EMPs. Oh my god, he's covering everything. But Astrea, he comes in with some reinforcements. He has plenty of disruptors. We just need some half decent novas. 2 ghosts. that's good enough. 2 ghosts go down. We don't have that many left. Novas once again going to be going off as well on the army. Zoning Bunny away. And yeah, Bunny, it's an uphill battle for him. Being down in these upgrades, he has to rely on somehow catching Astrea out of position. Some good EMPs, good positioning can go a long way. Oof. Not quite like that though. As he does take another Nova to the face. Astrea going to be taking his 5th base here as the center base location. +2 just now starting up for Bunny. And Astrea has maxed. He has maxed out. Looking dominant here. Bunny going for a bit of a Hail Mary play. He was setting up a counterattack. He can maybe catch a High Templar. More than one. Up. Oh no! He gets a High Templar, but he takes it over to the face. Not like this. Okay, we're still making 3 disruptors at a time. Astrea going for a big counterattack. He's got 3-3. And even without these Novas, I think he can break through. I'm loving the staggering of these High Templar behind the army. Yeah, plenty of storms available. Novas are going off as well. The spells themselves are enough here to just force Bunny back. GG gets called, and Astrea takes game number 1. GG, very well played here by Astrea. Now, there was a scary moment for him, definitely, but his first attack was very well timed, if you remember. When he did hit the 3rd base, that was Bunny caught mid-transition. He was caught also dealing with the Zealot drop into his main base, so he was pulled out of position. His 3rd base was so exposed. Ever since that moment, Bunny, he was never able to fully recover economically. After losing 15 SCVs at his 3rd base, he did try to counterattack and do some counter damage, but alas, couldn't quite find anything. And I think a lot of this also comes down to the control of Astrea. I do need to praise him a lot for his High Templar. He was always, like, we saw it very much so showcased in the final fights, but even before that, in the first fight, like, Astrea was always doing such a great job at just keeping High Templar back, just making sure he didn't have everything together, so in case EMPs did connect, he would always have High Templar to fall back on. He always had 1 or 2 storms available early on to make sure that Bunny could never really punish him and could never dive on him. And that allowed him to keep his army safe and sound. There was a moment when he lost everything. Afterwards, when he attacked the 3rd base for a 2nd time, when he overextended, that is true, but that looked more like overconfidence than anything. It looked like Astrea, he knew he was ahead, and he was like, oh no, yeah, I'll just, if you remember, he attacked with 2 disruptors, with his first 2 disruptors. He's like, no, yeah, I'll just do whatever, and then I'll just win. And he almost died. So that was a moment when Bunny could have brought it all back, but that was really the only big slip up there from Astrea. GG, well played. And with that, Bunny's on the back foot. He's going to have to try to bring it back here in game number 2 on his map of choice, Alkyone. Let's go. Here we go. Again, Bunny, he's an amazing player. It's just, alas, he was having a hard time keeping up with the counter aggression, with his lower SCV count as well against Astrea. And I know that Astrea, he's had a rough season. He has had a rough season of WTL, but he is still considered to be the best in the Americas. He is still one to be respected, spent a lot of time in Korea, and yeah, arguably the ace player from his team. He can take down anyone on a good day. And can he start this off with... Oh. So, yeah, regardless, we do need Bunny to... We do need him to bring it back here. Do need him to bring it back here for his team. Not just for himself, but for Mystery Gaming. And hopefully he can. Hopefully he can do so as well, because without it, it's going to be a tough road to travel here for Mystery Gaming. Obviously, they still have SHIN in the back line to have a good result here, but it isn't just about one player. It's about the team coming together as one. And of course, Matcherino, they still have Nightmare in the back pocket. Oh. All right, we're coming. I'd like to believe as well. There's two narratives here. Either like Bunny asks for a moment and a break, and Astrea's like, okay, buddy, and then he goes for a he paces around the room, or it's the opposite, and Astrea, he's like, I need a moment right now. Like, I'm a little bit too pumped up after that last game, after that last win, and I need a moment to myself. Let's go. Let us go. Again, we at least have our map of choice, and if there were any technical issues, hopefully they have cleared up. Hopefully. And here we go. We're diving into game number 1. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Alcione, we have Astrea for Mystery Gaming. And in the bottom left, we have for Mystery Gaming, it is Bunny. So Astrea for Matcherino. I think I said mystery twice. Matcherino Esports is what I meant to say. And here we go. As a probe is coming in for a scout, just making sure everything's on the up and up. I don't blame Astrea, especially against a Korean Terran player. He wants to make sure that, after I get a solid win, that you're not cheesing the hell out of me. Not just that, he's being as annoying as possible. No, he gets the SCV! Oh, a big reaction there out of Bunny, gritting his teeth a little bit after, shaking his head as well. That is not a good start. Not the end of the world, but this is a mistake that should not be happening this early on. And hopefully this doesn't phase Bunny too much here as we settle into game number 2. It's one of those things where it sets a tone. Like the equivalent is like as in ZVT when you lose like the first tumor or lose one drone to the Reaper. Like these are things that shouldn't quite be happening here. And Astrea, he backs off, he regenerates those shields, and he's looking to be even more annoying, dipping back in, getting confirmation that it is a Rex expand. So he gets a full scout. He's fully aware of the opener. It's very possible with a single gas opener, you can still go for a faster factory if you wish. You can mix it up a little bit. So that's why Astrea just makes sure that, okay, this is going to be economic. As the Reaper does move out, Bunny now has map control, and he's looking to reciprocate that damage. He's looking to get across the map and get a worker kill of his own. As initially he's going to be scouring the northern side of the map and avoiding any kind of adept if possible. Meanwhile, Astrea is going for a very different opener. As a reminder, in game 1, Astrea, he went for a Robo opener. Here in game 2, Twilight Council instead. And this is a lot more standard. This is also a lot more aggressive in a way. With a Twilight Council, this should be for Blink, and with Blink, we can get map control. We can be even more in the face of the Terran if we throw down additional gateways. I imagine this is going to be a 2-gate opener out of Astrea, but we'll see if he throws down a 3rd or even a 4th. Keep our eye on our American Protoss. Until then, Reaper is going to be zoned away. We have our 1-1-1 set up back at home. Starport in production, Hellions as well. Bunny just getting into his game. Now, he is making additional Hellions, which is important to take note of. He's not going into Widow Mines initially. Now, last game, we did see him go for like a hybrid Hellion and Mine Drop. Looks like he may go for that as well, because he made a couple of Hellions. Now he's going into mine production as well. And we're just having a look at... yes, Observer. We did see the SCV kill. We saw it, Pappy. We saw it. Also pointing out that Bunny wasn't quite able to get a probe of his own. As the mine drop is on its way. Blink in production as well. I believe that is the 2nd gateway thrown down for Astrea. So just 2 gateways for the time being. which means he should be working towards a third base. Well, until then, the Reaper does dive into the main, looking for that probe kill, but no, it will go down. Now, I believe Bunny did see the Twilight Council earlier. He saw the second gateway here in the natural, and there it is. There's the third Nexus. So again, only 2 gates into a third. Very economic opener here from Astrea. And we'll see if he can keep up with the drop play of Bunny. So we have the medevac heading towards that natural. Only 2 mines, but 2 mines can get a lot of damage done. They headed towards that natural. We just see behind this Robotics Bay on the way, so it's going to be 2-gate blink into a third into Colossus production very early on. This time, we're not going to be playing around with Storm or with Charge. We're going straight into Colossi. Meanwhile, the Stalkers are in position. Up! Blink is done. Medevac will go down, and this mine drop, we didn't need that. I don't think we needed to zoom in on that, but yes, the mine drop is going to get shut down. No economic damage done. No damage whatsoever. Actually, good Blink Micro able to avoid those mine shots. And yeah, Bunny having a bit of a hard time here in the early game. He does have a Hellion that got slipped, that somehow slipped its way into the main base. And oh, he wants the probe. He gets it. That was the one probe with the SCV kill. He got here. He avenged the SCV. It did cost him a Hellion, which I don't think is quite. Maybe it's worth it. Like, Hellions, they do get outscaled as we get into the mid-game. Gets a probe. Oh my god, as the Stalkers, they don't even care. They get 2 SCVs for a bit of hull damage. Man, Astrea, he's flexing a little bit. He's... oh my god. The pacing earlier. It's coming into play, Poppy. You got a 5-gateway setup here. I believe 6 gates in total. Colossi production has commenced. Sorry, that's 6 gates on the way, which means 8 gates in total. So we have an 8-gate charge follow-up with Colossi. Essentially, this is going to hit hard. Instead of going for so many gateways, we could have seen maybe additional tech, like a forge from Astrea, maybe additional gases. As we are pointing out, because there are no gases, there are no other upgrades. There is no further tech. Astrea, he's going to hit hard here with all those charge lots. Until then, he's going to be zoned away by the army of Bunny. Bunny vying for map control. Charge is about to finish up, and here we go. Here comes the army. So far, again, we're just vying for control of the center of the map. I believe we should be waiting for a Warp Prism before we move out and commit. As Bunny moves out, Astrea going for another Zealot run by. He's confirming the location of the army as well. He's in position with his Colossi. And the Zealot run by is going to be able to catch some Marauders, catch some SCVs here in the natural base. The boys, they have to be pulled. Oh no, they're friendly fire! Up! Oh, that could have been worse. We do deal with the mines as well, getting some more SCVs, 4 in total. And here we go, Bunny's committing to his first push. Making his way towards the third. Big mine shots! They go off on the Zealots. Oh my god, so many of those Zealots go down. Double disable on the Colossus as well in Astrea. He has to back off, he has to retreat. The overcharge putting in some work here, but it does get focused down. And without these Colossi, we cannot defend the third. But the disables run out. They do run out. We barely break through the tank. And Astrea will hold with this last warpment of Zealots. That was close. That was, happy. That was a very tight defense from Astrea. He took some big mine shots to the face, and Bunny almost broke through. But the overcharge was keeping so much of those Stalkers and Immortals alive. We're pointing out as well that there is no third TC. We throw down 2 more Raxes and a Ghost Academy, so Bunny is 2 base all in. Thankfully for Astrea happened to have not been going for a 4th base and happened to be just doubling down here on his army. Now he's working on a forge. Now Astrea finally working on that next step. Forge, Dark Shrine. Honestly, DT is going to be amazing here because there's only 2 bases. There's only 2 bases for Bunny. Very limited scans, very limited energy. There are 2 Wintermines in position. Can we clean up these Zealots? Oh! Decent shots. The Zealots, they will slow down some reinforcements. Not much more than that. There it is. The Forge has completed for Astrea. Dark Shrine on the way. We're already on 3. We're getting a 4th Colossus. Oh my god. That's a lot of swipes, man. A lot of swipes. Meanwhile, DT counterattack here. This is deadly. This could end the game. Again, Bunny has been muling hard because he's 2 base all in. How much energy does he have? Can he scan? He has no energy at the natural. We know that at least. You have energy in the main. So far, we're not fully aware. Here we go. Bunny committing to his attack. And here come those DTs. I said, never mind. They're not coming in yet. The boys are being pulled. I mean, there's not going to be much to attack. The DTs, they come across the boy pool. Scan is going to be used. It's all or nothing here for Bunny. Either he... Well, I mean, the game will end one way or another. Either he kills Astrea or he dies trying. Good EMPs. Nova zones the army back, but does not connect. Overcharge was premature. And Bunny is losing all of his SCVs back at home. 1 Colossus is left exposed. Yeah, first Colossus is going to go down. But the concave is too real. Is it enough, though? Bunny, he's breaking through. He is going to get 2 Colossi on the left. He's going to get every single Colossus, but the ground army... we're running out of steam. The Vikings, they land. Bunny, he's barely breaking through. We depower the Robo. Disruptor will not come out. But Astrea, he's got Warpins in his main base. He's picking away at the army. Marauder goes down. 2 Marauders. Every Marauder counts. DT comes in. Do we have a scan? We do. He scans. Deals with the first Dark Templar. Again, scans, they are so valuable here for Bunny. He does have a higher army supply, but his Metamax, they are running out of energy. Running out of steam. Yeah, there we go. DT is finally going for those orbitals. Speaking of, we do have 1 scan available. Yeah, we scan the DT. Astrea, he will lose this 3rd base. Workers are going down. Astrea running out of money here. But if he just keeps trickling in with 1 or 2 DTs, he can hold. As one of the orbitals is on fire. There it is. Yeah, 1 DT. That's all you need to do. Just 1 at a time. Send it in. Chip away at the army. Force out a scan. A good force field as well. Yeah, Bunny. At one point, he was up in supply. Now no longer. Looks like we're down to 1 orbital. The natural burned down. Yep, we're just confirming 1 orbital left here. It burned down, Bob. And GG is going to get called. Bunny just does not have anything left. And Astrea takes the series 2-0, taking down Bunny. Oh, GG. GG, well played. A very strong, a very powerful start here from Matcherino Esports. As he gets the 2-0, and things are looking a little bit dire for Mystery Gaming. Again, they needed Bunny to come out strong. And now they have to rely on some of their other players instead. SHIN and Nanami. They're strong players in their own right. Don't get me wrong. I think I would even favor SHIN against Nightmare, but it's going to be a rough road to recovery here for Mystery Gaming. As up next, we have Nightmare versus SHIN. And again, GG, a very strong performance there out of Astrea. Bunny just doubling down on the 2-base all-in, but he happened to be going up against a player that wasn't teching, right? Astrea, remember, he wasn't working towards a forge or upgrades. He wasn't rushing into a 4th base. He wasn't going like double robot production or taking additional gases. Astrea was staying on, you know, a mass zealot Colossus based army instead, and he was ready to receive. He scouted the move out. And Astrea, of course, the game winning move there was those Dark Templar. We had such limited scans available for Bunny, even though he had a higher army supply when he was all you need to massage your Marines. You know, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. As we are getting into our second best of 2, Nightmare versus SHIN. I'm still on the fence when it comes to like who's the ace player on Matcherino. Is it Astrea or is it Nightmare? Again, I still rate Nightmare very highly. Astrea had a great performance, don't get me wrong, and we'll see if Nightmare can top that. Meanwhile, SHIN is coming out looking to fight back for his team. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Nightmare from Matcherino Esports. And in the top right, we have a SHIN for Mystery Gaming, aka Ragnarok. Also, thank you so much, Ranger, for the raid. God, Papi God, thank you so much. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. And welcome to day number 2 of the World Team League. We just wrapped up with Astrea versus Bunny. Astrea looking solid in his series. Does bode well for his run in ESL Masters Winter. But now we're here with a very different matchup with some Korean on Korean action. Do love to see it. And for now, we're getting into our openers. Nothing too crazy. SHIN forced to take the unnatural. Natural. Nightmare just going for what should be a gate expand. Back at home. Oh yeah, and predictions are open. If you're in the chat, predictions are open for a couple of seconds. So place your bets on who you think will take it in the end. Oh my god. Probe just being as annoying as possible. I see Demi. It's me, Papi. I don't think Demi can play favorites. Demi, he's the, if I'm not mistaken, the player manager of Matcherino. I don't think he can pick favorites here for who's the ace player. They're all ace players, Papi. True. It is Demi. As we are just setting things up. No, okay. My mistake. Oh. But yeah, we are just getting into the swing of things here, and Overlord is moving out. So far, standard openers, nothing too fancy, nothing majorly aggressive here, but that's where I can talk about the players. SHIN is typically an aggressive player. SHIN typically doesn't play for the late game. He plays for the mid game here. We've seen him go for these like big 3-base saturation pushes here with queens, with roaches. We've seen him go for like big Ling Hydra timings as well. These Hydra timings have been very popular as of late with the recent patch, with the recent buff to Hydras. We have seen them come into play, but no, it's going to be Nightmare to really pop off. I was going to say the same about Nightmare, how he usually thrives in the mid game, and he's going for a Twilight Council open. So from Nightmare, this should be either Glaives or potentially a DT opener as well. We'll keep an eye on the gases. The gases are going to be a little bit more telling as to what we commit to and how hard we commit to it as well. As there's that Robo now on the way. Twilight Council is about to finish up. And for the time being, SHIN is in the dark. Not fully aware of what Nightmare is up to. He's just going to be saturating his bases. He hasn't pulled out a gas, which is interesting to me. So because he hasn't pulled out a gas, this, even if it's going to be Glaives, it could be a more committed variation of a Glaives as well. There it is. Dark Shrine gets thrown down. Not Glaive Adepts. And a big tell for that was of course, that we did, of course, stay in the gases. With the DT opener, it's not too committed. It's really a macro-based opener, and SHIN is making a wave of Lings behind this, and we'll see what he can get done with them. As he has a relatively low worker count, but he's still squeezing out drones, so he's not all in. Just looking to get damage done here with these Lings, as the wall is not a wall, by the way. And it's not going to be a wall. The Nightmare! The Lings, they flood in. They're going to surround on both of the Adepts, and they're going to be going down. Good control. He does slip one of them away, but probes are falling left and right. They have to be pulled. And a lot of probes are falling. SHIN, he's droning behind this. He's getting further ahead, and he's not done. 10 probes go down. A disastrous start here for Nightmare, and one link gets into the main base, and Shin gets a full scout. He gets eyes on the Twilight Council. He gets eyes on the Dark Shrine. Shin, he sees everything, and he kills everything as well. We have a Spores on the way, Roach Warren, second Gas Geyser to actually facilitate Roach production. Shin is in a dominant position, but the DTs are coming in, and the Spores, are they going to finish in time? Up! Oh no! It does, but the DT's going to surround. The first Spore is going to fall, and Nightmare, he can still pop off. He can still get damage done. One Queen goes down. He goes for the base, but the Spore is being repositioned. And Shin will protect his third. No Spore in the natural. Nightmare, he rotates around. He finds another exposed mineral line. Ooh, Queen falls. Good trades here for the DTs. The Spore is now done. You can see Shin trying to chase down that War Prism. As the DTs, they do head towards a third base, and they find another Spore, but alas, they will not get on top of it. Shin will hold. It was a shaky defense, and a shout out to Nightmare. He was able to get damage done. You can see here in the trades, he killed 21 Lings, 2 Queens, and 3 Workers, and lost mining time as well. So very impressive here that Nightmare was able to fight back, and he needed to. He needed to recover in some way. And now Nightmare, he's not as far behind as he otherwise once was. And he's not done. This is the power of a DT opener, is that you can seamlessly transition into an Archon drop to get even more damage done. Before that, we still want to snipe a Queen. We're going for it. We're going for that Queen, and we're going to get it. Queen goes down. The Lings, they get shaved off. And we've won another Queen. This defense has been very messy here from Shin. After such a strong start, Roaches have arrived. Finally, he can force this back. And finally, Nightmare should be morphing in those Archons. Oh, is he coming back? It's crazy. Yeah, they're just pointing out 47 Lings going down. We are working towards our lair at this point. Still saturating our bases. We have enough Roaches to defend. As long as we can split up between both the third base and the natural, we should be okay. As the DCs, they come into the third once again. Drones are going down, and we're not looking. We're not at the third. We did have 2 Workers going down at the third base. Maybe a Queen as well, as Shin is working towards a Spire. So we have that Spire on the way. The potential mutas is real. Still no Archons from our Protoss player. Shin banking up all of his Roaches, though. It's not looking so good here as 2 more Workers fall. But what's important is that Nightmare still hasn't scouted. He hasn't gone into the main base, as we're now pointing out. He hasn't really figured out what is going on, but he's going for a timing anyway. A very strong push here from Nightmare, as Shin is getting ready for mutas, but he makes a wave of Roaches. He's aware that he can't get away with it. He can't get away with just banking up for mutas instead. And he has a standing army. Here we go. Good force fields. Gonna be trapping a lot of these Ravagers. 2 of them go down. Another Zealot Warp in coming in. Shin up against the wall here. So far, good kiting, cleaning up a lot of these Zealots. At the same time, 2 Zealots are wreaking havoc in the mineral line. Drones are going down. Shin, he may get on top of this army, but he's losing a lot of Workers. He gets on top of the Archon. He takes down the Immortal as well. But 13, 14 drones are going down. Yeah, he pulls the Workers away a little bit too late. And Nightmare, he's running away with this. He may have lost his Immortal, but the Zealots are getting out of control. Getting on top of the Roach army. And yeah, we just need more Zealots. Just morph in more Zealots, Papi. Queen will be falling. The Roaches, they are holding here at the natural base. So we have more Zealots wreaking havoc at the third. More drones are going down as well. It's just becoming too much. And even if Shin forces this back, Nightmare, he's ahead in Workers. He's ahead in economy. He can rebuild his Immortals, and yeah, this is just getting too out of hand. Nightmare, he had a disastrous start, but he brings it back. GG gets called, and Nightmare takes game number 1. GG. Things were looking dire. He lost 10 workers. He got scouted. Didn't even matter. The DTs. I love that Nightmare. It took him a long time to morph in those Archons. He committed to just harassing with DTs a lot longer than normal, and this is becoming more of the norm. We've seen this a lot from Hero. We've seen Classic do this a couple of times as well, where you go in with your first DTs, you get some damage done, you pull back, you just warp in more DTs, and you go in again. you just commit again, and you actually delay your Archons, and you end up catching the Zerg player off guard. You know, even if they have a couple of roaches or like a couple of queens in position, DTs have such high DPS that they can break through anyway. And yeah, Nightmare, he was able to get a lot done with those Dark Templar, more than he should have. And that eventually led into his follow-up push as well. And this is looking dire for Mystery Gaming. This was their opportunity to put a point on the board. Matcherino, as we get into game 2, and in the top right-hand corner of Equilibrium, we have Nightmare for Matcherino. And in the top left, we have his opponents for Mystery Gaming. Shit. The pressure is on Shin. He needs to bring it back here and now, or it's all over for his team. Now, for those wondering, even if it's a 4-0 for Matcherino, we will still play out that final best of 2. That best of 2 will still play out. Between Arrogfire and Nanami. So we still have another series after this, another matchup between these two teams, but there's going to be a little bit less on the table if Nightmare were to win this game. Oh boy, we'll see if he can. As Nightmare's going to be heading over towards the gold base, he's just making sure that the gold wasn't taken as the natural, which has been happening recently. So of course, Nightmare wants to make sure that that is not the case. So he does check, does confirm, and goes for his own gate expand. Oh. Standard openers, Pappy. Standard openers. Likewise, we have a Shin as well, going for a hatch gas pool, this time on location. He wasn't forced elsewhere. Wasn't forced to take the unnatural natural. Not this time. Love to see it. Like, we need more 7TY emotes. Oh, look, I don't know what the meme emotes are. Okay, we've got a couple. We've got a couple of 7TV emotes. Okay, got a couple of them. Do we have the car? I like the car. We need the car. Is it there? Kura, what's it called? You know the one that I'm talking about. The one where you get out of control.
Monkasteer.
Monkasteer? We need some Monkasteer. That's what we need. They're not. We need that in the channel. We need that in the channel. You don't have Smoge? Do we not have Smoge? No shot. Don't we? We don't. We don't even have Smoge. We'll get around to it. Aye. Monkasteer. As we're getting back into our game here, and it's going to be a Twilight Council opener once again out of Nightmare. This time it's a Twilight Council not into DTs, but into Glaives. So we're going for the other variation. And again, we were talking about Shin earlier, about how he really thrives in the mid game. Likewise, Nightmare is a very aggressive player, and he relies on, at times, these builds as well. We have 3 more gates on the way. That's going to be 4 gate Glaives in total. It is not all in. It is designed to cripple the economy and then transition out of this into a 3rd base. Meanwhile, Shin does take the gold as his 3rd. He has taken it as his 3rd base, but he is in the middle of droning at the moment, and he's not fully aware of what his opponent is up to. He hasn't quite pieced it together. Shin is going to be droning up a little bit longer, and there we go. We have a safety spore on the way. We have a safety Roach Warren thrown down at the 4-minute mark. So far, these are good reactions here out of Shin. Again, he's in the dark, but he's preparing just in case it were to be DTs again or even Glaive Adepts. So SHIN has the tools to defend, but does he have the execution? The other difficult thing is that because the goal base was taken as the third base, SHIN's bases are actually very exposed. They're very far apart from each other, so it's going to be very awkward to actually maneuver between them and defend these bases. And here we go, the Glaive Adepts have been revealed. SHIN pulling his queens together. The Adepts, they head right for the gold. They're looking for those drone kills. They're going to get a queen. There's not enough energy for transfuse. They get one queen. They're going to get a second, and they can get a third queen as well. And again, SHIN, he just cannot reinforce. He cannot engage. He dives in with his links, but there are just so many Adepts already. Prism is being zoned away, but the Adepts, they just walk through. They get into the mineral line. They deny mining. Even getting a couple of those drones. Now, the Prism was zoned away, but it can rotate around. Yeah, we have another warp in, and this is just getting out of hand. This is becoming too much, and we can just go straight for the hatchery. We don't have to waste time at the natural. Behind this, we're transitioning. Robotics Bay. We commit! Uh-oh. Not too sure about this commitment here, as all these Adepts will fall. The Adepts are going to get cleaned up, and the hatchery will survive. Oh, yeah, that was a bit of a blunder from Nightmare. I do think that he would have had enough time and he would have had enough firepower to kill this hatchery, or at least keep his Adepts alive, but did throw them away. And SHIN, he's still in this. He's going to start main outing his goal base once again. Now, Nightmare still has another wave of Adepts, and he can still go back in to get some more damage done. Third base is being taken. Going toe-to-toe with the roaches instead. There we go. Going to be target firing some of those drones before getting surrounded. Oh my god. The friendly fire from the Ravager. As Nightmare, he's not done. He's getting more drones. 5, 6 more workers going down. Just crippling the economy even further here of SHIN. And it's not a disruptor, we're getting into Colossi. Regardless, Colossi disruptor either or would fare well here for Nightmare. We have Lings that are going to be harassing that third base, but a Stalker's in position. Ling is cleaned up. At this point, I do think we have reached enough Roaches and Ravagers to fight the Adept Army head on. So Nightmare does have to be wary. Oh, and we may force a cancel on the third base. A lot of damage is being done. A couple of Adepts are being warped in back at home defensively. And it looks like we will barely save that base. The Nexus will stand. And now SHIN is going on the counter-offensive. Lings, Roaches are pushing out across the map. There is one Colossus and soon to be a Disruptor as well, back at home for our Protoss. Go. Yeah, the Ravagers are getting picked off. A bit of an overextension here out of SHIN. Losing 3 Ravagers before the main army arrives. Oh, not like this. Expensive losses for our Zerg player, and now Nightmare, he has maintained control of his third. SHIN sending out some links to counterattack. Wants to try to punish it as Nightmare moves out. Now, I do think these things can get a lot of damage done. Will they force a recall, or will Nightmare commit? Okay, there's no recalling here. Nexus will fall, and Nightmare, he's sending everything across the map. It's all or nothing for Nightmare. His hatchery is still low from earlier. Drones are being sent away. I'm loving the evacuation here from SHIN. Oh, so Lings. No, shall we force a recall? Wait, what are we? Okay. I was like, are we recalling the main army? We recall some Adepts. They make their way back home. Oh, probes are falling. A lot of them, actually. But Nightmare's main army is not slowing down. He takes down the gold. He's going for the new third. Do we have enough roaches, though? It doesn't look like we do. Not with all these disruptors. Not with all these purification novas, as SHIN is going to try to force his way in, and it looks like he does take a nova to the face. Good juggling here with the Colossi. Lings are coming in first round. Biles, they will connect. And it looks like SHIN, he will clean up the Gateway army. Oh, but we have reinforcements. Do have reinforcements coming in. The Colossus barely survives, and we can get the base. Can we get the base? Up. It's going to be close. No, we won't. Oh, God. As the Colossus barely survives, Novas go off as well. Disruptors will go down. And SHIN, this is getting so scrappy. He's barely holding. They've shaded into the main base. The Colossus falls. No, the Colossus goes down. A big loss there for Nightmare. Adepts, they were idle in the main base. The Stalkers, they want that hatchery, but they're not going to get it. Where are they? Oh, up, up. They barely will. The last volleys, they take down the third. SHIN, he's down to 2 bases. Nightmare, he's got a gold. And he may have lost his disruptors. He may have lost his Colossi. He may not have any road-based units, but mate, we don't need them. We have Blink Stalkers. We have plenty of Blink Stalkers available. Shaving off these roaches one after the other. Oh, a big roach counterattack though. There's no shield battery. There's no pylon. Do we turn back around now? We just keep on pushing. And taking down the roaches one after the other. And it looks like Nightmare may just have finally too much to break into the natural base. Lings are trickling on in, but that is not enough. GG gets called, and Nightmare will take the 2-0. And that is Matcherino Esports taking down Mystery Gaming. GG. GG, well played. A Nightmare barely does it. That was a very shaky game. That was very scrappy. That was very messy. That was very back and forth. There were moments for both players. But Nightmare barely was able to snowball out of control. Barely broke through. Really impressive control there with the, of course, War Prism juggling. With the initial death push as well. Very well done. And just like that, Matcherino Esports, they will take the series. Now, we will still play out the final best of 2. A final best of 2 will still be played out. But the overall result is set in stone. Matcherino will be taking it. But will they get a 4-0, a 4-2, or even a 6-0? We're here to find out. Up next is Arrogfire versus Nanami. Interesting. No future this week. No future. He may be just focusing on, of course, ESL Masters Winter. And yeah, Arrogfire, he's going to be coming out here as the 3rd player. Of course, an up-and-coming player in Europe. Has been getting some really good results. We actually casted Arrogfire. I say we casted. I guess we did on the channel a couple of days ago in ESL Masters Winter. It was Arrogfire versus Cyril, and we were lucky enough to catch that. And Arrogfire, it did feel like he was very nervous. I remember being very critical of. I think it was like Wardy and Loco. They were casting it, and they were so harsh on Arrogfire. But it did feel like Arrogfire was very nervous. As it was his first time competing and performing in ESL Masters Winter. But what's exciting is that as the weeks go on, as Arrogfire gains more experience, the likelihood of him slipping up like that and making those mistakes is going to be that much lower. And I do actually favor him in this PvP, but we'll see. We'll see if he can bring it here to his opponent, to Nanami. As we also casted Nanami yesterday. We casted Nanami versus Haas in ESL Masters Asia in a PvP. And it was a pretty wild PvP. I don't know how much we really gained from that because Haas cheesed every game, as you can imagine. Haas cheesed every game, and Nanami actually was looking good defending initially, and then things kind of slipped away from him as well. Like Nanami, he was scouting, he was responding. Here we go. We are getting into game one and spawning in the top left-hand corner for Matcherino Esports. It is Arrogfire. Oh, using his phone. And in the bottom right, we have for Mystery Gaming, Nanami, Chiaki. With half his face. Lovely. Oh my god. I don't think, look, we've had, who was it? We had Harston the other week where like we saw like mainly like the upper half of his head. And I think we've had Wayne as well, where we get like zoom ins on their forehead and stuff. So we've had instances like this. I don't know if we've ever had this where like we have only one half of the face. Let's go.
I think my favorite part is that the background is not even a real background, but it's like a Discord background.
Oh yeah. It is a green screen background. True. I think actually the closest we got to this was Hero. I think it was Hero who was like sinking into his chair, like as he was playing, like he was slowly moving further and further out of frame. I remember, I think it was last season, they were having a lot of fun with Hero, where like at times he'd even be like really small or really big, like those, yeah, good times. For now though, we're getting into our final PvP here or final best of 2 of this Team League match. So far, we have Nanami going for a economic opener because there's a ramp coming into Side Delta. Side Delta is one of the few maps where you can actually go for economic openers, and Arrogfire is setting up for a 1 base all-in. So Nanami is going to be the defender. Very similar here. Big shout out to Anime with that sponsor. But we, just like in ESL Masters Winter, when we cast in Nanami versus Haas, Nanami was the defender and Haas was the aggressor. Same roles here, as Nanami's going to try and defend on 2 bases and Arrogfire is all in on 1. Gamba always busted on tweet. Oh, Smooch. Here we go. As Nanami, he is looking for the proxy. He's aware of the kind of capacity for an all-in here from Arrogfire with a 2-gate opener. He's looking, and it looks like he, oh my god, barely does not come across it until now. We do have the pathing coming in, and it looks like this probe should spot, yep, the pylon and the robo. And now Nanami is aware of the all-in. Back at home, we need shield batteries. We need a tech of choice, either a Stargate or a Robo to get Void Rays or Immortals up and running. We need one or the other. So it is the Stalkers. They have arrived. Going to be shutting down that first Zealot. We do have additional Stalkers coming in for Nanami. He wants to try to shut this down at the source. And Arrogfire is supply blocked. Oh, a brutal supply block for Arrogfire. Now was not the time. He is slowed down. Back at home, there it is. Defensive Robo on the way from Nanami. It's going to be relying on Immortals. Stalker's already taking a lot of hits. Arrogfire being forced back to his proxy. He's still just amassing up an army. Going for a Disruptor drop first. Sorry, Disrupt what? Going for a Prism drop first into the main as Immortals are on the way. Prism slipping into said main base. Immortals are coming out, and Nanami out of position. Oh wait, no, sorry, it's the other way around. My apologies. Arrogfire out of position. I don't know what. Wait, yeah. Okay. The perspective thing caught me off guard. So Nanami out of position is going to be able to rotate back into his main. Am I crazy? When they look at the perspective of the individual player, is Nanami blue when they do that? So I was very confused. But here we go. We have Arrogfire rotating over towards the natural base. Immortal is in position. Now Nanami with 2 shield batteries and an overcharge as well. He is ready for this. Throwing down the pylon. Meanwhile, Arrogfire with those sentries. He has capacity for force field so far. A decent force field cutting up the army. Almost in half. Once again, isolating the Immortal. Can he focus it down? The overcharge putting in a lot of work, and the Immortal refuses to die. A big overextension from Arrogfire. He did not kill the Immortal, barely put a dent into it. Very well-timed overcharge from Nanami. And now we are running out of energy to force field. This is not going to get easier. As Arrogfire is going to try to split apart the army. Dips in towards the main. That's on the pylon. Let's see Archosis. That's Archosis pylon, by the way. No! And everything is going to get depowered. No gateways, no shield batteries. Does Arrogfire have enough to break through? He's still pushing up into 2 Immortals. As additional pylons are on the way. In a panic, Nanami trying to repower everything. Feels Artosis pylon, man. As additional gateways are on the way. Prism slips into the main. Stalkers are ready for it. Likewise, once again, Arrogfire pushes in. He's going to be able to focus down that pylon, depowering another gateway. But so far, the juggling is looking good. The Immortals are standing strong. The shield battery is keeping said Immortals alive. We have another overcharge. And that will force Arrogfire back once again. Do you see Nanami playing with fire a little bit, juggling forward with those Immortals? He has 3 of them, and he loses 1. It looks like Arrogfire, he is breaking through. He has surpassed the Immortal count of his opponent. There is no overcharge. The shield batteries are out of energy. The boys are being pulled, but it's a little bit too late, and Arrogfire, he has done it. He has broken into the natural. There's just far too much. And Nanami cannot hold. GG gets called. Arrogfire takes game number 1. GG. GG, well played. That was honestly quite close as well. I was concerned that maybe Arrogfire had overextended one too many times, but the force fields were so on point, just forcing out those overcharges as well, causing a lot of chaos, depowering some of the production. And Nanami, in the end, was overwhelmed. GG. GG, well played. And I mean, Matcherino, they had already taken this series, but Arrogfire, he's looking to make it a 6-0. He's looking to just go for the super all kill. I don't looking to make this as one-sided as possible. And Nanami, he is in some trouble. He's sinking a little bit further back in his chair. Hopefully we don't lose him. Come back to us. It's a really interesting background choice here, where it feels like Nanami, he wants to hide how messy his room is. He's like, look at how classy my background is. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh no. What are you hiding from us? Not like this. As we have our map of choice, and it is going to be Solaris. Solaris is coming up next. Interesting. So, a bit of a longer rush distance, does have a lot more bases to take advantage of as well, but the speed zones do add some complexity to this map. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Solaris, we have a Matcherino Esports, Arrogfire. And in the bottom left, we have his opponent from Mystery Gaming, Nanami. Here we go. Again, Nanami up against the wall, looking to put a point, at least 1 point on the board for his team from Mystery Gaming. Can he do it? As another interesting fact about this map is that there is no ramp coming into the natural, so neither player is really tempted to go for a gate expand. Both players are going for double gate openers instead. Makes plenty of sense. 2 gate openers all around. As Arrogfire, he's just, both players just going for their double gateways, and we should soon be seeing what exactly kind of opener they want to go for, whether they go double Stalker, Stalker Sentry, double Adept, each, of course, a different form of aggression, each with different intentions. The other important thing to take note of is that there is no proxy pylon. Both players should be throwing down their respective second pylons in their... Oh, never mind! In their main bases. Arrogfire, he's going to be hiding his second pylon in his own natural base instead. So a little bit cheeky here out of Arrogfire. Nanami's is in his own main. Is where it should be. Here's where all things should be. So we have a double adept opener out of Nanami, so he's going to be a little bit more aggressive. With those adepts, he can shade across the map, and he's going to be looking to deal some economic damage. Meanwhile, Nanami also throws down a Robo as well. Oh my god. Okay, so the Robo, as the observer is pointing out, is because it looks like Nanami is convinced or is very wary that he's up against an all-in. Because the second pylon is missing, he's afraid that Arrogfire is going to all-in 2 games in a row, and this Robo, this defensive Robo, is going to be ideal against that. We can get into fast Immortals, into fast War Prism as well. And Arrogfire does delay his expansion, going for a Stargate first. Oh my god, that is a third gateway! So Nanami, he can turn this defensive opener into an aggressive one. With a third gateway now in the way, instead of making an Immortal, he can go for a Warp Prism first, he can get across the map, he can warp in, and he can be very aggressive. There is a lot of potential here for Nanami. Adepts, they get across the map. Well, they're actually getting caught out here by the Stalkers. Stalkers, they get a lot of hits in. Hallucination Scouts coming in, confirming the lack of expansion. And should get eyes, yep, on the third gateway and the Robo as well. There's our War Prism on the way. Will the Adepts, they make it in? Oh, the Adepts do make it into the main base. And there it is. Now that Arrogfire has confirmed the all-in, he's getting a defensive Void Ray. So Void Rays don't really have a place in PvP outside of this. Outside of the early game where they can be used to defend against all-ins. As an alternate route as opposed to Immortal production. Arrogfire also throws down his own Robo. Should be for Immortals as well. Immortals and Void Rays are both ideal here in this position. But how many will he have? And will he have them in time? Because Nanami is here. Nanami has already arrived. Shield batteries on the way. Good force field. Taking down one of those Stalkers. Overcharge is popped. Prismatic alignment as well. We take down an Adept. We have his second Void Ray on the way. Nanami looking for another way into the main. There we go. He is going to be juggling his way into that main base. The Prism is under fire. No! The Prism goes down. No more reinforcements. The Void Ray somehow survives. Oh, and this is disastrous for Nanami. Second Void Ray rocks up as well with Prismatic alignment. Stalkers are falling one after the other. Good control out of Arrogfire. He barely keeps the Void Rays alive. And now he can go to town on this Immortal. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, the Immortal fools the Stalkers as well. There is no Prism. There are no reinforcements. And Nanami loses everything. GG gets called. And Arrogfire will take the series 2-0. Really just solidifying the win here for Matcherino. GG. GG, well played. A solid defense there from Arrogfire, showing that he can all-in. He can also defend against all-ins as well here in Game 2. Very well done, and a solid result here for Matcherino. 6-0 against Mr. Gaming. I did not expect this. I did expect